welcome and thank you for coming to this panel, such interesting with so good panelists about how technology is disrupting construction and also the real estate industry. But since we are not so many here at the room, I would like to ask first the audience, how many investors do we have here? Raise your hand. Okay, and how many entrepreneurs? Good. And any corporates? Great. So, well, I think we have a very good mix. And, well, maybe we can have a brief introduction, each of us. If you can begin, maybe. Iko.
Yeah. I was wondering which hand to raise because I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an investor, and a corporate at the same time. So thanks for having me, Ivan, and South Summit, of course. So 12 years ago, I started a company called Peer Transfer as a student, which now is Flywire, which this year IPO'd on NASDAQ. It was the first Spanish company with Spanish origins to IPO, trading around 5 billion right now. And then I moved back to Valencia and founded Zubi Labs. Essentially, Zubi Labs is with two areas. One is a venture builder, and it's all focused on impact. And then we have investment management arm. And we have the first fund that we just launched a few months ago, which is an impact venture debt fund. It's actually the first pan-European fund of these characteristics. And we try to start with the social and environmental issues or challenges we're trying to solve. We say our mission is solving challenges for a better future. And then from there, we think about which are the companies that we should be creating or which should be the funds that we should be launching to solve some of these challenges. And we work across the board. So we work in real estate. We have a network of schools. We have tech startups. We're more interested in the challenge trying to solve more than, kind of, does it have to be tech or non-tech? Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. I'm Giorgio, the founder and CEO of Casavo. So we are a technological platform active in residential real estate. In a nutshell, what we want to do is to change the way people sell and buy homes across Europe. And to do so, we started from the root of the problem, which is the problem of selling a home, which not sure whether some of you have sold a home, but it's like very long, very inefficient, very offline process. And to do so, we provided an alternative way to our customers to sell the home, which is very simple and extremely fast. So if you want to sell your home, you go to casavo.com, get an instant online valuation, and then we are able to buy directly the home. So it's ourselves, Casavo is a platform that buy directly the home in a matter of days, your home. So the process is extremely fast and efficient. And then after that, we refurbish the home, either lightly or extensively, depending on the home characteristics, essentially, and we find the final buyer. So this is how we started, with really the vision to become a market maker in the long term, which is able to participate in every residential transaction across our markets and to serve in different ways all our customers, so home sellers, buyers, and realtors as well in the ecosystem. So we started in Italy. We are headquartered in Milan. I'm Italian as well. Started like 3 years and a half, 4 years ago, more or less, with our business. And 1 year and a half ago, more or less, we started in Spain as well. So we opened our office in Madrid. We started our operations. We are expanding in Spain as well. So we started in Barcelona a few months ago. So really excited to be here and to be part of the Spanish ecosystem as well.
Great. Thank you. Sorry.
Hi, my name is Ana, and I'm co-founder of Tico. It's a pity that I go after Giorgio because we do quite a similar thing. So our vision is also to transform and digitize the way that people buy and sell their houses, and provide a very hassle-free experience. So I'm sure a lot of people here relate to the process of selling your house. It's a very tangible, real problem. And in a country like Spain, where people love selling their houses, it's really a challenge that your most valuable asset you cannot sell when you have the need to, right? So this was what motivated me to start Tico here in Spain. So probably one of the differences against Casavo is that we're home-based in Spain. So we're live in 7 cities here in Spain: Madrid, Barcelona, Sevilla, Málaga, Valencia, and Bilbao and Zaragoza. And we also launched in Portugal, in Lisbon. So very similar ambition, room for all of us, I'm sure, and there will be an interesting discussion for sure.
Great.
Hi, my name is Miguel Fernandez. I'm the CEO in Dodgis, where we create data analysis solutions based on maps. We combine different technologies with location intelligence, such as big data, cloud computing, or computing vision, in order to create these solutions that helps our users to get smarter solutions and quicker solutions. We start working in 2016. We are based here in Madrid. We have worked in more than 70 projects, both in Spain, Portugal, and the UK, for different sectors such as real estate, retail, energy also. What else? Everything.
Okay, thank you. So, well, I think we have a very good mix, no? From a founder like Iker, serial entrepreneur that has been, well, actually his first startup was the first company to IPO on the Nasdaq from Spain, but it's something incredible. We have two founders of companies that have raised actually a lot of, a few $100 million that are disrupting how we are buying and selling homes. And Miguel, from Dodgis, I think that, well, the technology that you are developing, I know it quite well because you have worked with companies that I know, and I know that applied to big data and geolocalization has a lot of sense, no, for many companies, and it's a solution that can be useful for PropTech and also for other industries. But even though it's a little bit different, I will understand that the beginning of every entrepreneur is completely different. And I wanted to ask first Iker, how did you decide, after being involved in so many different projects and after the IPO on the Nasdaq and all that, why did you decide, what were your motivations to enter into the real estate industry, that it's a kind of brick and mortar industry?
Yeah. Well, actually, it was much earlier, because in 2014, when I moved back to Valencia, maybe I'm not a very strategic entrepreneur. I find problems and try to solve them. Initially, was getting my money lost to make tuition payments, and that's kind of how this company was born, the original company. And then it was finding a school for my children in Valencia, and finding that I didn't like any. I decided with two friends to create a school for our children, and now has around 300 children. It's Imagine Montessori School. And then from there, we started thinking, how could kind of the environment be, look like to enhance the experience of that community around the school? Mm-hmm. And we realized actually cities and real estate are more thought out to meet regulations and thinking very much on the product, not so much on the people. So we launched this ambitious project, or how can we reinvent cities and create something of a certain scale. It's 300,000 square meters. For thousands of people to live there, and with very social and environmental ambitious objectives around carbon footprint, biodiversity, sustainable mobility, social inclusion, affordability, etc., etc. The thing is, when we started this, we realized that cities and real estate was really an ecosystem. So we started also kind of creating companies around there. So we created companies called Cocircular, which is avoiding the construction waste ends up in landfills, for example. Now we create Woodea, which is a construction company focused on wood as a structural material, and kind of technology in all the process is a Comtech. So all these different things that help us kind of realize the vision. And La Pinada, which is our eco-district project, will be the first of several, and with different sizes, in a way that we can really contribute to rethinking. It's actually a very holistic project, because you think about from the start on, like how you plan, design, co-create. And I would say the more characteristic feature of the district, more than being ambitious on those angles, social and environmental, is that we are actually building the district as a startup. So
if you are around in Valencia, you should meet the place and visit it, because it's incredible what they are building there.
Yeah, so we're co-creating the district with thousands of people. Mm-hmm. So I like to say that what puts life into cities is the people, not the buildings. So as long as you have the people, so we're innovating around placemaking, about co-creation, around how you actually engage with the future user in designing, how that creates a portfolio of products that are really interesting, how it makes it. So innovating in a lot of different dimensions. So it's like a big pilot R&D, at the district level that hopefully is the first of many.
I would like to ask now to Anna, and sorry, Giorgio, but I will jump.
Please first now.
Woman first, yeah. But why did you decide to to build something around how we buy and sell homes? No? Because it's something, as you have mentioned before, that's so important and so that it's emotional for a person. No? Why did you decide to launch something, a project so interesting there?
Sure. So I love challenges, right? And for me, this was a huge challenge. Like, how come a lot of people can be, saving their entire life and putting all their savings in a house, and then you, for some reason, need to sell the house? As I said before, you're moving, you're increasing the family, and there is no easy way to do that. It's a super long process. It takes on average 8 months. It's super stressful. We actually asked our sellers, how was the experience of selling your house? Was it stressful? And they compared it to getting divorced and to losing a job. So that is stressful. And it shouldn't be that way, right? There are a lot of tools. We have technology. Why do we have to be selling our houses the same way as 20 years ago? Why hasn't digitization entered the real estate world? So for me, it was the challenge. And then the industry is something that has been captivating me more and more. So it all started with the problem, but then you say it's time for prop tech now, right? You've seen fintech, insurtech, food techs, all the techs, but prop tech is being the last one to being digitized, and the opportunities there are just incredible. So I think it's really the time for prop tech, and I think started in Spain, which is a country that is so real estate focus, and that it's really, as I said, it's a very tangible problem. Who doesn't know anyone that has tried to sell their house, right? So applying technology to solve that challenge is something that really motivated me.
And in your case, for example, thank you, Anna. In your case, Giorgio, that you have a very similar concept to the one of Anna at Tico, and I'm sure that when you begin with such a project, you realize that at the end, since it has been so traditional, you have all this kind of bureaucracy around buying and selling homes. In the case of Spain, for example, you have the public notary, the public registry, you need to pay taxes and so on. How are you applying technology in order to get a better user experience when you are selling at your webpage?
Yeah, that's a good point. So it's a very complex transaction, much more than, I don't know, a financial transaction, a wire transfer or something as such. So I think when I started the business 4 years ago, what I realized is that notwithstanding real estate is a huge asset class, much larger than other asset classes, there was no tech champion that really managed to build a full stack technology around automating a residential transaction, right? Which is something very hard. I have no doubts that in the future, and whether it's in 10 years, 20 years, or 50 years, we will be able to sell and buy homes as simple as, I don't know, buying and selling a stock or something like this. But the problem is that in the last 10 years, the only meaningful innovation that happened in the market was that classified portals really digitized the home search experience, right? But that's just a tiny piece of that inefficient process you were describing before, and that maybe it's true that home buyers today start, in 80% of the cases, their customer journey online looking for a home on a website, but only 10 to 40% of sellers really start their customer journey online. And so this is how we started. So we said, okay, let's digitize and get the traffic from the top of the funnel from that seller problem, and then from time to time build technology in every piece of the transaction based on what adds more value to the customer. So to get back to your point, I think technology here plays 2 key roles. One has to do with data, which is typically what people speak about because it's a fancy topic, and it's true. We have to be as accurate as possible in evaluating fast homes that transact into our platform, but at the same time, where we spend most of our resources is in the backbone, right? So how to automate each piece of the transaction. So what we did was we spent a lot of time building an infrastructure over the last 2 years as a sort of workflow management system where we can attach different IT modules based on each step of the transaction, right?
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example. We started doing physical inspections in the properties we wanted to extend an offer for, and then during COVID we launched a mobile app in order to run that visit from remote in 15 minutes in order to make an offer without going physically to the home of the customer. And then this turned into something more. It's more of a self-data gathering experience. So in most of the cases, in our first markets in Italy, for example, we don't even visit remotely anymore the home, right? So it's an iterative process, long-term play, and we need a lot of players, us, Tico, and other players in the ecosystem to reach that end game picture and build that kind of platform that can serve all those
Absolutely.
customers.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask to Miguel, because at the end, what you have at your company at Dotsis, it's a kind of technology, a B2B technology that can be sold to many companies in the real estate business, and some of these companies here today. How your technology can help this company, these kind of companies to interact with these kind of problems that they are facing today?
Good question. Well, just trying to be clear, we work in 3 steps. The first one, which is data acquisition, we work with satellites, drones, or devices like that, in order to achieve reliable data, strong data, which is the base of all the work in data analytics. The second one is the data analytics, where we apply artificial intelligence or computer vision in order to reduce the error margin working with people. And the third one, which is visualization. We work with web technologies, developing solutions, making accessible all this process to all the users. This is the focus. Well, combining all this data and working with maps, where we believe that is the best tool to combine and to work with millions of data, we develop digital solutions, products very focused on the user. So we can make them their lives easier, so they can make, or well, helping them in the decision making this process stronger, faster, and also smarter.
Thank you very much. Very interesting. I wanted, before maybe also asking the audience for some questions, I have a question open to any of you, so please answer whoever thinks has a good answer. But basically, I was thinking that at the end, the real estate industry, as we have mentioned, it's an industry where we have a bunch of old school players. I mean, like traditional companies that have been doing this for almost centuries, I will think, no? And do you see them as competitors, or do you think that there is an opportunity to collaborate with them? I mean, how do you face your work together with these kind of traditional companies? And I mean, construction companies, real estate agencies, etc.
I can jump in. So for me, it's clearly a collaboration situation. So obviously there will be some parts where there is some overlap, but in general, you know, these players have the expertise, the real estate penetration, and we normally have the tech. So I think the combination of both of this is it's a win-win situation. And then I think maybe 5-6 years ago, there was some questioning on whether technology was that relevant for property. But I think nowadays, everyone wants to embrace technology. How we do it or they do it is obviously another conversation. But I think people want to embrace technology, and there's an opportunity to collaborate. So in our case, for example, and I'm sure you're just as well, you know, like realtors. There are so many ways of building an agent-cooperator network, in which, in the end, what we are looking for is that the customer has a better experience, right? Either they go with, you know, an instant buying solution or a more brokered solution, et cetera, et cetera. So for me, it's a super clear win-win situation.
For me as well, I share the same. I mean, like we cooperate we have a very inclusive model. with technological solution, developed a doc, for example, with some of our partners, say partner brokers, but we cooperate with renovation contractors, with, I don't know, technical services, due diligence provider, notarial firms, and all of that. And I think that we see ourselves like as a platform where all these players can add value and they can add their distinctive value. So I don't think, for example, that brokers will disappear. I don't have like that kind of aggressive view. I think that the process of selling and buy a home is very emotional, so it will require still a very like a relational, let's say, support. And so we think that we can contribute with technology, and these players can add value for based on their experience and what they're good at. So I think very much inclusive.
I think I'm also in the world of this intersection of sustainability and tech, right?
Yeah.
And kind of innovation. So I see that sometimes tech companies or startups can play a role in meeting kind of their customers' objectives. So if you think about, some of our clients from our waste management company are people that are committed to, a more sustainable management of their or the development companies, or incorporating some of our innovations, or building in wood and all those things. So I would see that kind of as a, hey, it will help you, right? But something very particular, I think, that the real estate, if you think broadly, is that it's real, right? That's real estate. So it's very capital intensive. So I think delayering was actually the asset ownership versus the asset management, layers and all those things is very important, because it's two very different games as I see it. So for example, La Pinada, we actually purchased the land ourselves, right? So we're the asset owners and also the managers and developers. But other projects we're looking at, we're actually decoupling that. And the owner saying, hey, I want to create something that, I like your mission of sustainable living made easy for everyone. How can you make it happen on a line that I own? It's very different, because you're thinking about the investments that are required for developing districts and cities and all that stuff is a very different game than the budgets you need to operate and manage technology companies.
So it's clear that at the end it's a matter of collaboration. So we have a few more minutes. I'm not sure if maybe we have any question from the audience.
Hi, this is Ariane from Moxtra, from United States, Silicon Valley. And I have a question for you guys, and it's about, that real estate is a high-touch business, and we always speak about we are focusing clients, but the reality is that to get the service, we need to send emails, we need to call, we need to fill forms. So sometimes this is not it is not convenient and it's not efficient. So, what's the challenge for the real estate business to bring a better experience for that client? To get more than digital and to bring more convenient service for the client. This is my question.
Also say maybe transactional, no? Well, go ahead, either of you, but I think you are just doing that, no?
Yeah, well, I feel like I'm talking first, so apologies. For me, it's a combination of technology and people, right? Like the technology is the tools that make people be more efficient, and in the end, this returns in a better experience for the end customer. So to make it more tangible, for example, the beginning of the contractual process is something that we can digitize a lot and make it much more convenient for the seller in this case, right? So for example, with Tico, you can ask for an offer for your house from the sofa. So this was something that actually worked pretty well during the pandemic, so no one could go out. And we were still getting a lot of requests of an offer for their house from the sofa of their house, right? You didn't need to go out. You didn't need to open the house to any stranger. You can get an offer for your house in a very short period of time and without super hassle-free, right?
Yeah.
So, but obviously, then you need to give support to that seller. You need to explain why you're making the offer that you are making. What are the comparables that justify the price that you are setting? What are the next steps? What if this person, just inherited the house? What happens next? So there is certain part that you can digitize, and technology enables us to do so. But it's about combining the low, how do you say, the parts that don't add any value that a machine can do, a machine should do, but there is a human touch that you need to have. So for me, technology is that tool that enables people to make the most of it, right?
If you haven't tried it, I think you should try it, either Casavo or Tico, because, I made a trial a few days ago, and it's incredible how the whole process is, as you have said, from the sofa. I'm not sure, maybe Miguel, that it's in a different sector and can give us like another view.
Yes, well, maybe for me, in my experience, the key point here is to listen to the user. Also, to give them only what he wants, to listen, or give him the capability or the possibility to select what he wants to see. Because we talk about technology, and automatically we are thinking about data, more information, more and more and more. And there are a lot of cases where the user finds it like a mountain to climb. So to stay focused just in the information that the user wants to see, I think is the key point.
Mm-hmm. Great. So, well, I'm not sure, are there any other questions?
Hi, thanks. Hello? Whoa. Okay. Hi. My name is Rita. Hi, Miguel. I do have a question. Well, I work in a startup, in a PropTech startup. So in your experience, when you try to work with big corporations in this sector, it's quite difficult because they are very big, really big, and you are very small. So in your experience, what are the 3 most important factors that make any of you more attractive to work with these companies, and they make them choose you to work with, instead of just, okay, let's keep the things as they are?
You can take it.
We don't have much time left, but
Yeah.
a quick answer.
I would say from my standpoint, I think you have to understand, first of all, whether you need to work with the big ones or you prefer the small ones. In terms of enterprises, then it depends on the business. But I would say the 3 things, probably it's about the technology that you can provide and the kind of like innovation mindset that being large corporate, they don't have structurally. The second piece has to do with like bringing a fresh mindset. So typically you are a very young company and they are like very old fashioned. So you bring, let's say, out of the box thinking into solving their problems. And the third thing I would say is the dynamism and the velocity at which you can do things that maybe they lost somehow, right? Being a large corporate. So I would say these 3 fields.
I'm the evil guy.
Yeah.
You're the guy that everyone hates because comes here. Guys,
Well, thank you very much, Alex.
go for it.
Yeah, well, thank you all for attending to this panel, and thank you to the panelists and to South Summit for organizing it. So it's been a pleasure.